Welcome back. This video continues where the last video, part 1, left off by going through additional features in the advanced charting application. Again, I'm going to blow this chart up so we can see it better, hitting full view. I'm now still in Subic, and we'll start with the studies function. So here we have a number of technical indicators or technical studies: the Bollinger Band, MACD, moving averages, RSI, stochastics, volume, and so forth. Some of these being overlays where the indicator goes over the price chart, and some of these being oscillators that go either above or below the price chart. So let's first look at one of the overlays. We'll go into the Bollinger Band. And notice when I open the Bollinger Band, I have the option to change the parameters. I can also change the colors. So I will do that. Hit Create. And now I have my overlay of the Bollinger Band. Now with all the drawing tools as well as the technical studies, if I roll my cursor over it and it highlights, as you see there, and you can see how there's a pop-up that says what it is. If I right-click, I can delete that study individually. Right-click, gone. Now, I will put a couple oscillators on. Well, before I do that, let me go to the moving averages. I'll put a couple moving averages on. This moving average is 50, simple, red. We'll keep that to start. Then we'll go put another one on and change that to 200, and we'll change the color. So now I have those two moving averages on the daily chart. If I want to delete one, I highlight it, right click. Then we'll go in and we'll put in the RSI oscillator down at the bottom, which is the automatic default to where it shows up. And I'll also put in volume. And then I'll also put in MACD without changing any of the parameters. So, a couple things now to notice. One is that we have the ability to change the size of the window. We also have the ability to change the order that they show up. So in this case, I'd like to see volume first. At the top, I click this up arrow, and volume pops up to the top. Now, let's say I want to see RSI and MACD above the chart and volume on the bottom. I can click the up arrow, click it again, and now you see that it's up above the price chart. We'll put MACD up there as well. And so now I have my indicators above the chart instead of below the chart. Okay, so that's the technical studies. Now let me get rid of those by hitting the X to disappear them. And we'll go over to look at our next feature here, which are our select tools. I'm already at click crosshairs, that's why it's showing up there, but normally it would say select tools. So these are all my drawing tools. So I have annotations where I can write things on the chart. I have Fibonacci, I have a horizontal line, vertical line, trend lines, trend rays, and different shapes such as ellipse and rectangle, and so forth. So let's start with the segment down here, and this allows me to draw a limited trend line by left-clicking, moving my cursor, finding where my endpoint is, and left-clicking again. Now I have my trend line. I'll draw another one up here, like that. I can draw one like this. Notice how I can keep drawing until I close this particular tool, which you can see up in the top left here. Until I click done, I can continue to use that tool. So I'm going to draw another trend line, but now I want to change the color. So I'll come in here, I'll change the color. Now, whenever I draw a segment line, we're using the different color. Now, notice that you see what just happened. By mistake, I just drew a trend line because the tool is still open. So I can so I will close that tool now by hitting done, but now I have a lot of lines, so I can go back one at a time and delete, or I can go to the select tool drop down and go down to clear drawings, and I'll clear all the drawings at the same time. I'm not going to go through each of these, just a few to give you an idea of some of the things in here. And again, we also have the user guide under charts drop down as well, and you can go through that. So now we have the ray line, and the ray line is just extending into the far right rather than having a limited length. There's my ray line, there's my ray line, and so forth. Now, I still have that drawing tool open, but when I pick another drawing tool, the horizontal line, this functionality now is related to the horizontal line. Horizontal, left click, new horizontal, left click, new horizontal. Take that off, clear drawings, and we'll go into a couple of the shapes. So I have a rectangle option. I open it. I can change my colors. I can change my line style. We'll put a little dashed line. Change this color to a bluish color. And now when I draw my rectangle, there you go. Bam. I'll finish that. And now go to the ellipse. And you could also draw a circle in the ellipse. You could see depending on how you move your cursor, you have a number of related shapes that you can put in here. Okay, so that's a quick summary of the drawing tools. I'll close that last tool I had open. Now we'll move on to the compare, where I can compare multiple for the performance of multiple stocks or indexes or a combination of indexes and stocks, however I choose to do it. But first what I want to do is two things. Number one, I want to get off logarithmic and go to arithmetic by going to the chart drop down, unchecking log, because the comparison will not look proper if it's on log. Then I want to change the style of the chart as well into a line chart. And then I go into my compare drop down and I put in another symbol. So we'll put in the TOSI. It already has a color assigned to it, but I can click that color box and change the color if I want to. I click add, and now we have the second symbol showing up. And you can see how instead of price on the far right, we now have percentage. The time frame that this is comparing from is the far left. You see at the very far left, the percent of performance is equal. So if I move my screen, the starting point changes, and therefore the performance on the far right changes as well. Let me add in something else in there. And one more. And I'm going to take out the moving average because that might distort things a little bit. And now resize or reposition. And you can see the significant difference between DR relative to the other stocks that we were looking at on a percentage performance basis. Now I can change, or I can delete the any particular stock by highlighting, right click, or I can go into the compare drop down and just hitting the X here to delete that particular symbol. Now we go back and we have SABIC again. I'm going to go back to my original candlestick chart. Now there's just one more thing I want to show you, which is how do we save a chart, or how do we get an image for the chart. Right here we have a little icon that says Save Chart. If I click that, it will give me the ability to save the chart as a PNG file, and I can then use that image in whatever way I want, to publish it in a blog, to share it with friends, to change it to another file type, and so forth. So that kind of covers the simplified version of the basic functionality of the charting. Again, the user guide is available under Chart pull down or drop down in the portal. And you're always welcome to contact us here if you have any questions or clarifications at info@marketstoday.net. Thank you for visiting, and we look forward to hearing from you.